Jim Moret has been a fixture on television for more than 2 decades. But when money troubles hit home for him, the dark path he considered led him to write a very personal book of hope.
In a surprise move,
Jim Moret has covered everything from major trials to natural disasters to the red carpet. But behind the glamour, he faced a crisis that would push him to the brink of suicide.
I had no idea that my friend was going through this very private hell.
I had this overwhelming feeling of hopelessness, and it really took me down a dark path so that I actually thought, I'm worth more dead than alive, because I knew that I had $3 million in life insurance, and if anything happened to me, my wife and kids would be taken care of.
Before joining Inside Edition, Jim, who once hosted CNN's Showbiz Tonight, was out of work for more than 2 years. To help pay the bills, he borrowed money against his home.
It was something that millions of Americans are dealing with right now. You got overextended on your house.
The shame and the humiliation was so overwhelming that I couldn't sleep, and I would think about death.
Those thoughts took a dark turn in April of 2008 when Jim was driving on the Pacific Coast Highway near Malibu.
You drove down the Pacific Coast Highway, you found the stretch of road, you saw where it dropped 100 feet.
And that's when I turned down this dark path in my mind, and I thought, all I have to do is turn that wheel a little bit, and I'll go right over the cliff. It'll look like an accident, and everything will be fine. It was really a turning point in my life. I stopped the car, and it was a scared straight moment because it was a true wake-up call where I thought, do I really want to do this? And I thought first of my family, and they saved my life. They really did. In
the image passed in front of you?
The image passed, and I saw my children and my wife and the pain that I would cause them.
Jim says it redefined his life.
We often value ourselves based upon our bank accounts, and that's not really our value at all.
And nobody knew. Your wife, Carrie, didn't know. Your kids didn't have any sense.
When I wrote the first 2 chapters, I showed them to my wife, and she cried. And it was the first time she'd ever realized the depths of the pain.
At his wife Carrie's urging, Jim turned his near tragedy into a book entitled The Last Day of My Life.
Even though the premise seems dark, the book itself is one of hope and one of inspiration and empowerment.
Thank you for writing it.
Thank you so much.
And Jim tells me that writing The Last Day of My Life has given him hope that he can get through any of life's problems.
As hard as she tries, staying away is nearly impossible. This woman, who we'll call Jamie, is an addict. Her drug of choice, the internet.
Hey, the mailman's been here.
The first thing I do when I come home from wherever I am is get on the computer, no matter what.
She's not alone. At any given time, 35 million Americans can sign on to the net, and according to experts, 150,000 of them are addicts.
You've got mail.
The average user logs on 7 hours a week, but for some, surfing the net can be habit-forming.
The computer, for me, is like alcohol for an alcoholic. Alcohol makes them feel that they can be somebody they're not. More friendly, more outgoing, more vivacious. I get quite a bit of mail.
In chat rooms throughout cyberspace, it's cozy and very safe.
People get tongue-tied in person, and I don't get finger-tied.
Jamie lives with a roommate and a variety of pets. She's on disability, so she is home and often spends up to 30 hours a week on the computer. Her bill runs anywhere from $85 to $200 a month, but online time has cost her much more than money.
I've jeopardized friendships. I forget to feed the animals. You know, if there's something I don't like to do that I need to do, I'll go on the computer, and that's my excuse.
The future, now available on...
The temptation is tough to resist. Companies offer special introductory rates or monthly plans that encourage you to spend more hours online.
Do you easily lose track of time when you're online? Have you lost interest in other activities?
These questions are all part of a survey conducted by Dr. Kimberly Young at the University of Pittsburgh's Bradford, Pennsylvania campus. Its results took her by surprise.
When people started calling me really upset, crying and you know, I got divorced from my husband because of this. You don't understand what it does to people. My husband's in denial because of this. I don't know what to do. These all of a sudden were very serious problems, very real problems, and it did overwhelm me. Our mother is addicted to chat rooms, and it is causing the breakup of our family. The thing that makes an addiction is really these vices that go out of control, that cannot be stopped. They make unsuccessful efforts to cut down. They go, okay, I'm really going to try and go all day without turning on the computer. And people can't. They got to turn it on. They got to check their email. They got to have their fix.
Hey, long time no see.
Now, just saying no is not so easy. Like other addictions, surfing the internet can take control of people's lives, and in some cases, totally destroys them. We'll call this man Steve. He says he lost his wife of 10 years to cyberspace. How many hours did your wife spend on the computer every day?
In its heyday, 8 o'clock in the morning till I come home at work at night, she's on the computer still. I was getting calls from mothers in the neighborhood that your children are here, your wife isn't here. She didn't pick them up at school. She forgot to pick them up at school. She forgot to make them dinner.
Steve's wife has denied neglecting her children or being obsessed with the internet. But in court papers, Steve also says his wife was having cyber sex. Here's a portion of one email allegedly sent to Steve's wife.
If you find yourself in need or desirous of some erotic stimulation via email, drop me a line. I'm always here to assist you.
From there, Steve says it escalated to phone calls.
Men called constantly. She was calling all over the world, the country.
She took this from the computer and from the phone to
reality, to meeting at restaurants, hotels, and bringing the children with her.
So you're saying she's meeting these men. What are you actually saying she did here?
I say she committed adultery.
Steve's wife has denied most of these allegations and has countersued, claiming extreme cruelty and spousal abuse. Her attorney has refused to comment on the specifics of the case. However, Steve's lawyer, Richard Klein, had this to say.
I've had incredible numbers of calls, people who've been terribly embarrassed to talk to anybody before. Once this case, fortunately or unfortunately, became out in the public, people suddenly realized they were not alone.
I think that, you know, if somebody has a kind of situation like the one you described, I think there's something else wrong.
Sarah Fitzgerald is with the Interactive Services Association, a trade organization representing major internet companies.
If it's getting to be too much, and you can always unplug that modem.
Can you believe what's possible these days?
People have tried to go into counseling for this, and the treatment isn't just going cold turkey, but finding a happy medium and balancing the internet with the rest of their lives.
If not, then as the internet grows, so will the number of addicts.
Attention, attention. This is an America Online alert. You have been on too long. You must disconnect. You are addicted.